Good afternoon, Standard 9 students. Today I shall be teaching you stanza 4 and stanza 5. Okay. Now we know in the previous stanza the priest did not give his log of wood because one did not belong to his church. He did not bother about the remaining four and himself, that with his log of wood he could have also kept himself and the others who belonged to his church warm. Okay. So the third man sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? Now the third man was sitting with torn clothes. Okay. And he brought the collar of his shirt closer to keep himself warm. This is when he gave a coat a hitch. Means he adjusted the coat or the shirt so that he could keep himself comfortable and warm. Okay. Now he is a very poor man, and the ones sitting along with him, they were all rich. So definitely he felt odd. Amongst the six of them, he was the poorest. Okay. He wondered why he should waste his piece of wood to keep the lazy rich warm. Now he held a grudge against the rich people. So he says, why should I give my log of wood for the lazy rich people? Now he calls them lazy because they would sit back and make the poor people to work. And then they would benefit from their hard work and he would pay them very less. And maybe, perhaps, because of this, they were unable to satisfy their basic needs. They cannot buy new clothes because the money is insufficient. It is because of these rich people who refuse to give them their due or give them a satisfactory life to live. So he felt it was a kind of a revenge. He did not want that the rich people should benefit from his log of wood. Even he also failed to understand that if I put my log into this dying fire, I could also warm myself. But that selfish and revengeful attitude was so much that he did not bother about himself. And he made sure that he did not put his log of wood into the fire for the rich people to benefit. So here we see the discrimination between the rich and the poor. So now all of them are sitting together. They could see that the fire was going off, was dying. Sooner or later, the fire will go off. And it needed wood for it to come alive, to continue to burn. And it was night time. The weather was very severe, it was very, very cold. And that poor fire needed some wood to keep it going. And that was the opportunity for them to understand that the dying fire needed the log of wood, and we all have a log of wood. But because they had a grudge, each one had a grudge against the others present over there. So, like the poor man, he felt that he should now punish the rich by not giving his log of wood into the dying fire. Okay. He did not want the rich people to warm themselves from his log of wood. The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store. The next person, the fourth person, was a rich man. And the rich man was very proud that he had worked so hard and he had earned so much of wealth. How much wealth? He was recollecting or thinking about the amount of wealth he had. Okay. And he wanted to save. He was now thinking of various ways and ideas that how I should save my wealth, especially by not giving any help or donation to the poor people. He had a detest. He hated the poor people because he felt that they are the ones who are responsible for that life of poverty that they are leading or living. He feels that they are very used to getting things free. Without working, they want that the rich people should help them. And they do not want to work. They do not want to labor hard. They do not want to improve their status in life. They want everything very easily. So he did not put his log of wood for the poor man to benefit. Now, the poor man is the only man who the rich man felt that he should not benefit from my wood. But what about the other rich people that were with him? He did not think about them. He only thought about how to punish the poor man. Let him realize that he is responsible for his own poverty. He should be working hard to earn a good living. He should not be depending on others for any kind of monetary help or any sort of help that he requires. So that is why he did not want to put his log of wood into the dying fire for the benefit of the poor man. But he also failed to understand that the other foes are also rich. They should also benefit from the log of wood. So he did not think about that. He was a very selfish man, and what he did was he made sure that he did not put his log of wood into the dying fire because he did not want that the poor man should benefit. So here we see again the discrimination between the rich and the poor. Now each one in his own ways felt that they were doing the right thing. But they had failed to understand that I am the one. If I put my log of wood into the dying fire. I can warm myself. Forget about the others. But at least let me put my log of wood so that I could benefit. At least for a short time I could feel warm. And remember, it was the weather was bleak and cold. Biting cold, what you say. It cuts through the skin. It was very, very cold at night. And these six people had nowhere to go, no place to escape. They had to be there, but they failed to understand the need of putting their log of wood into the dying fire. Now, the next man was the black man. Okay. His face, he looked around and his face became red. He says his face bespoke revenge because he was the only black man amongst the six. And there was a strong feeling of racism in America, in the United States in the 1960s, where the whites had ill treated the blacks. They were not allowed to walk on the streets after a particular time. They were not allowed to enter certain restaurants or hotels. The children were kept aside. They were not allowed to mix with the white children. So, and the way the whites had ill treated the blacks. So, this black man looked at them with a revengeful attitude. His face bespoke revenge because when he thinks about the American history, when he goes back to the American history, he realized how the Negroes or how the black people were ill treated. And they were not given an opportunity to rise up in life. So that is why he felt this is a golden opportunity I have to take my revenge out from these white people. So he also, for the white people not to benefit from his log of wood, so he also did not put his log of wood into the dying fire to keep himself warm. He did not bother about his own life, but he just wanted to take out his revenge. So this is the only way I could make these white people suffer by not giving my log of wood into the dying fire. They will die of the cold, not realizing he will also face the similar or the same end. But that revenge, that grudge, the malice that he had against the whites. So his face spoke it all. How angry and irritated he was. And then he also felt, now whether this action of his was justified or not. So what do you think? Is this action of the black man justified? Do you think by him not giving his log of wood into the dying fire, did he do the right thing? Because he felt this was the only way to punish the white men. He felt that this was a golden opportunity that I could punish these white people by not putting my log of wood into the dying fire. So now you have to realize when you watch the history of America, you will notice how that the blacks were ill treated and they were badly treated, they were whipped, they were taken as slaves, they were sold. So a lot of harm had been caused to them by these white people. So that is why he says he spoke. His face said it all, that he would want to take out his revenge. And so, in order to take out his revenge, he deprived them of the putting his log of wood into the dying fire. Okay. I'll be sending some additional question and answers. Please write it down and study it. Thank you.